So happy Monday, everyone. Neomis here. Now, I wanted to talk about what is going to be the future of Arsenal. You saw my videos over the past couple of days in regards to the Southampton game, Unai Emery going forward, and now it's getting to a point where we need to start talking about who's the next manager to take over Arsenal Football Club, because Unai Emery isn't the one. And even though I don't believe that it's just his fault, I think that there are several factors involved in the reason why Unai Emery is doing badly. He does take a large majority of that blame, but it is not the only fault. Now, what do we do from here? Who do we bring in charge? And as you saw from the thumbnail, there are many, many different suggestions on how that should go. Now, TalkSport recently did an article on several options that it could be, and I thought it was interesting that I should kind of share it. So, because I think that the options that they presented are pretty good. There were some options there that I thought of a couple of weeks back that could be that aren't on this list just because of the fact that now they have jobs, i.e. Thierry Henry, i.e. Jose Mourinho. But some of the names that they've been talked about, and I want to talk to you about this one firstly, because it's come on today, is Mikel Arteta to manage Arsenal Football Club. Now, if you're an Arsenal fan, and if you've been an Arsenal fan at least over the past 5 years, you know that Mikel Arteta was a former captain of Arsenal Football Club. He then decided to retire, and instead of staying on to kind of be part of the backroom staff for Arsene Wenger, he decided to leave Arsenal and to be with his friend Pep Guardiola, who he was part of the Barcelona academy, and he has been under Pep's tutelage since then. Has been one of the key staff towards giving them their title runs and all the success that they've had. But you know what? Him being Pep's number 2 to then coming to be Arsenal's number 1, I don't know. Like I said this before Emery even got in. When I thought Mikel Arteta, my first reaction was, oh my God, Mikel Arteta as Arsenal manager. Like, are you serious? This guy has no pedigree. He's never won anything. I think he's only ever managed the first team twice, and that was because Pep got a little bit leery with the referee, and Pep wasn't the manager, and I think he got a loss in one of those games, which is kind of funny. Well, not so funny, because now we're talking about him leading Arsenal. Also, one of the things that for me is concerning is Arteta. Like, even when he was captain at Arsenal, he was never the ones that was really vocal. Now, I know you have two different sets of leaders. You got the leaders that lead by example, which I'm not sure if that's him, or you got the vocal types of leaders. His natural personality disposition seems to be very quiet, seems to be like he definitely knows he's a smart guy. He knows the tactical side of the game. Or reading and listening to Pep's interview, he said, you know, the defensive midfielder, you know, they have a good view of the game. They can go and, you know, analyze, you know, how attacks should go forward, still understand how defenses should operate because they're sitting in front of the defense. And they understand the creative elements of it. And we all know Arteta used to be a little bit more further forward in his career, but can he actually do a job at Arsenal? It's gotten to the point where now with Emery, I think a lot of people are a little bit like, you know what? Maybe. So he is an option in this. Also, another option as well, Massimiliano Allegri. So Massimiliano Allegri, we all know he's on sabbatical right now, former Juventus manager. You're talking about a manager who has a pedigree of winning things. And if you're looking at his CV or resume, if you're on the other side of the pond, he has the winning criteria needed to be an Arsenal manager. He has it all. He has it all. He was interviewed for the job same time as Arteta as well. But supposedly he turned us down because of money, because we weren't going to give that much money in the first season. So I'm not particularly sure on how this is going to go. If I had to say, I personally think that he's waiting on a big job. Could it be Arsenal? Possibly. This is where the likes of Edu and Raul will have to go and sell Arsenal to him, sell the vision, sell the dream. And then let's see what happens there with Allegri, because it's one of these situations where you really just don't know. Really just don't know. Lots of positives, but also lots of the few little negatives there and in regards to Allegri. Also, one of the next ones, we're going to have someone who has recently been sacked. And I'm going to tell you with this one, I'm vehemently against it. Not because I think he's a bad manager, just because he used to manage Tottenham Football Club. And that's right, it's Mauricio Pochettino. Over the past 7 days, everybody's been talking about Poch. And it all started with Harry and Jamie Redknapp talking about how, you know what, if Arsenal came in, especially Harry, you know, if Arsenal came in and offered him the role, they think that he should go to Arsenal. Jamie said that he wouldn't let the fact that, because he used to manage Tottenham, get in the way with that. But you know what? I'm going to let the fact that I'm an Arsenal fan, that I'm a die-hard Arsenal fan, and that I believe in the values of Arsenal and the standard that was set by Arsene Wenger, and which created a lineage at this club and all of his success, where I don't want Pochettino. He's not the only manager out there. I get it. He's a successful manager. Well, that depends on how you define success. If you're talking about winning trophies, Pochettino has done fuck all. He's done absolutely nothing when it comes to winning trophies. He's an absolute failure. And I know that sounds harsh, but everybody out there that's complaining about all these other managers, they want somebody to come in to win things and develop the team. He'll develop the team. He'll probably even get us playing in a really good way. He knows the Premier League, knows the Champions League. He's done a lot of it. Done a lot of it. But is he good enough for Arsenal? I don't know. I really don't know. But is the only reason why he's even been viewed as a potential option is because of how everything is right now? Because the fan base are so toxic on Emery? Probably. Because last season, when Arsene Wenger left, no one even mentioned Mauricio Pochettino's name. And I know people in the comments are saying, yeah, but he got to a Champions League final. So, what does that mean? What exactly does that mean? Absolutely nothing. So, just a bit of food for thought there in Mauricio Pochettino. Not my favourite on the list, but yeah, not at all. Then the next one, we're talking about Freddie Ljungberg. Now, this is the one that I feel is more than likely to happen. Hear me out. Hear me out. Now, if Unai Emery gets sacked, whatever day that it is, he gets sacked, there is only one man on this list that I have here, one man, that is in a position where he could say, you know what, I know those players. I know exactly how all of them play. I know the tactics that the manager was doing. I could maybe say, you know what, we could do this right. We could get better at this. And he can do that from day one. None of these other managers on the list could do that. Just because he is already there at the club. I know that he's working with a lot of the young players that's there. And I know that he's working with a lot of the Europa League teams as well when we're facing in the Europa League on Thursday. So stay tuned to my thoughts on more on Freddie Ljungberg tomorrow on that video. And I digress. Like, Freddie Ljungberg could be a really good option. But then again, you get back to the negative part. And the negative part is, what has he done? He's in the same position as Mikel Arteta. And the only difference is that he knows Arsenal. That's the only difference. He's in exactly the same position as Arteta. Done nothing. He hasn't done anything. Absolutely nothing. And that's where we hit with Freddie Ljungberg. Can he come in and revitalize the squad? For some reason, everyone on Twitter and online seems to think so. But for me, I'm more of a realist and I'm looking at it in a logical stance. We don't know. I can't even say no. We just don't know. We don't know whether he could do it. But again, if we get to that point where Unai Emery gets sacked in the morning, on Tuesday morning, in this cold, rainy November, could he be sacked? Ljungberg's ready to take the reins from then. So there we go. Another on the list, and this is the penultimate one, Eddie Howe. Now, I was listening to the Football Terrace last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. And they were talking on there about Eddie Howe, and Arsenal had been looking for a manager before Tottenham got Mourinho, and they'd approached Eddie Howe. And Eddie Howe said that he wouldn't be making any decision in regards to his future until the end of the season. He will not leave Bournemouth. That's understandable. The loyalty that he has to Bournemouth, his family is still there, and I know there were a lot of issues when he went to Burnley and managed Burnley for a while. His family were really unsettled there, and he went back to Bournemouth. Would he be unsettled in London, even though Bournemouth is, I think, like an hour and a half, 2 hours away from London? So it's one of these situations where, could Eddie Howe do a job? He's great at developing players. He does have an attacking style of football that people do like, and what he's done with Bournemouth, I do have to say, like, well done. I think he's done pretty well with the tools that he has. But to go from Bournemouth to Arsenal is a big step up. Not just to do with the club, but also to deal with the fans. We have to be honest. Arsenal fans, we're dicks. Like, we are proverbial piss takers. Some of the things that I've heard that's been talked about Unai Emery already, cussing his cussing the way how he speaks, the fact that he's foreign, that he's Spanish, so bad. And people will find a way how to insult Eddie Howe as well. So it's one of these situations where, can he deal with the pressures of Arsenal? I don't know. I don't know. But he knows the Premier League. He knows how fans are. He's got that experience. He hasn't really won anything, but he knows the pressure. Like, he was a player who knows the pressures of playing at the top level. And you know what? I really do think that Eddie Howe long-term can be an option. But right now, in the middle of the season, probably not. And that's not because of Arsenal, and that's not because of me. That's more to do with an Eddie Howe side. Now, in the next 6-7 months, then Eddie Howe could potentially be that guy to kind of take us forward. But we'll see from then. And then finally, we've got Erik ten Hag. Now, all of you will know him as the Ajax manager. This is the same Ajax manager that managed Ajax to get them into the Champions League semi-finals. And we all know that he didn't win in the end. And some people would have said that, you know what, he bottled it in the end against Tottenham. He had like a, I think 3-4-0 lead, and somehow he let Tottenham come back and beat them literally within the last minutes of the game. So frustrating, but you know what? He would bring an identity to Arsenal. That's the one main thing that I will say. Fantastic, wonderful attacking football. He knows a lot of players on the Ajax side, some of which I would love to see. David Neres, big fan of David Neres. Would love to see him at the Arsenal. I mean, I think it would be absolutely fantastic for us. He can play as a forward as well as a winger and anywhere in that front three. And I think he'd be absolutely brilliant. But would Erik Ten Hag, I mean, it's a bit of a tongue twister. Ten Hag, could he bring success to Arsenal? Possibly. Defensively, though, which is our biggest issue, like, not sure, because for him to let Tottenham come back in that manner, I don't like, because this is the problem that we have right now. But he's an up-and-coming manager. He knows how to work with players, and he would be seen as a long-term solution. So I like that. I like that about him. He's got a really good pedigree, knows how to spot talent, working with that a whole director of football type of business. It could be an option for Arsenal. Again, is it a right now situation? No. No, for me at least. Long-term in the summer, possibly. Now, that's it in terms of the list that was on the TalkSport website. But in terms of who could potentially come in to steady the ship, so hold on to your seats, because this is the most unpopular opinion people will have in regards to who I personally think should come in and steady the ship. Now, I've been thinking about this for very long. Arsenal's weaknesses, on how things are. I've watched games on TV, live, and Arsenal's biggest problems are defensively. Someone that could come in to organise us defensively and has a history of steering the ship in the Premier League, especially if things get worse for Arsenal in the Premier League. There is one man, I'm struggling to say his name, and it's probably going to get me ripped out on here, but I'm going to say it. Big Sam Allardyce. That's right, I said it. Big Sam. You bring in Big Sam, come and steady the ship. You bring him in until the end of the season. This isn't a popular opinion, but here's my reason for this, why I believe Big Sam could be someone to come in and steady the ship. He went in at West Ham, steadied the ship. Yes, they kept him on a lot longer. Maybe, I'm not sure about keeping him on for a lot longer, but he come in, he steadies the ship, organises us defensively. That's something that nor Arsene Wenger nor Unai Emery was able to do. He knows how to grind out wins. It's one thing I will say about Sam Allardyce. And one thing that he's got the managerial experience in the Premier League. On the downside, though, historically, he doesn't exactly exude the identity of Arsenal. Especially like Arsene Wenger's Arsenal. That attacking style. But this is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that if a manager like Sam Allardyce could come in, fix the defence, and sort out the defensive part of the midfield, maybe, just maybe, he could decide, you know what, I'll just let the attack do their thing. And with the attacking players that we have in Aubameyang, Lacazette, Mesut Ozil, Nicolas Pepe, Gabriel Martinelli, that could be enough. That could be enough to where it opens more possibilities for having that defensive structure, because the way how Arsenal ship goals and what I saw on Saturday against Southampton was absolutely embarrassing. Our defence is utter and absolutely crap, and that is the main thing what we should be changing. But guys, let me know what your thoughts on everything that I've talked about today. This is a very, very, very long video, and I haven't done one of these in a long time. So it's a bit rantish, but it's good content. So let me know what your thoughts on all the options that I've talked about. Let me know about the biggest unpopular opinion of them all, Big Sam Allardyce. Yes, I said it. Big Sam, Sam Allardyce. Let me know your thoughts on that. Leave your comments below. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Again, why are you not subscribed? But if you have, I will see you again next time. Peace.